Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's live broadcast on CSI Sportsnet of CUNYAC men's volleyball action. Tonight features the Bloodhounds of John Jay College and your CSI Dolphins at the CSI Sports and Recreation Center in Staten Island, New York. Tonight's match has playoff seeding implications on the line. The Dolphins currently sit in 5th place with a 2-4 record, while the Bloodhounds sit in 7th at 1-4. This is Tom Kuchkowski along with Joe Foreman bringing you live from the Sports and Recreation Center. Joe?
All right, thank you, Tom. And the Dolphins, as you mentioned, coming into this matchup with the Bloodhounds, playoff seeding on the line. These two teams neck and neck on the bottom half of the CUNYAC Conference. The Dolphins have a 1-conference victory advantage over the Bloodhounds. The Dolphins come in with a conference record of 2-4, and the Bloodhounds with a conference record of 1-4. The Dolphins have had success in their recent conference matchups, winning matches over Medgar Evers College 3-0, and a conference matchup at CCNY 3-2. They dropped their previous conference match to Lehman College 3-0. So the Dolphins have won 2 out of their previous 3 conference matches. Another conference match here tonight with the John Jay Bloodhounds. The Dolphins coming into this match following a 3-0 loss at Ramapo College that snapped a Dolphins consecutive win streak at 2 matches tonight. The Dolphins hope to get back on track with a victory over the Bloodhounds here at the Sports and Recreation Center.
Yeah, Joe, that loss at Ramapo was tough. They didn't play bad, and they wound up getting swept. But, you know, the team really showed promise. They're improving each and every single game. John Jay, on the other hand, comes in tonight on a 5-match losing skid. Tonight, hoping they could break it.
And we'll see if that happens. As we'll step aside for just a moment, starting lineups in the national anthem here at the Sports and Recreation Center. And coming up in just a few minutes here on CSI Sportsnet, a CUNYAC conference matchup between the Dolphins of the College of Staten Island and the Bloodhounds of John Jay College. We'll be right back. And we're back here on CSI Sportsnet as the starters are being introduced here at the Sports and Recreation Center. The Bloodhounds are being introduced first, so I'll bring you the starters for John Jay. Number 5, Francisco Miranda. Number 7, Alexander Santana. Number 11, Juan De Jesus. Number 13, Steven Alvarado. Number 20, Kelvin Ortiz. Number 21, Jerson Guaman. And number 8, Godwin Sequeira. And with the starters for the Dolphins is my broadcast partner, Tom Kuchkowski.
All right, starting number 1, Adil El Haddad. Number 2, Zebin Guo. Number 8, Brandon Lay. Number 9, Mark Palencia. Number 13, Danil Kukovitsky. 19, Khalik Baum. And number 6, Ronald Tisby.
And before we took a break, Tom, you were mentioning that matchup against Ramapo. The Dolphins coming in, I should say, off a loss to Ramapo College. Ramapo with a 13-8 overall record. The Dolphins with an overall record of 5-10 following their match back on Monday. You said that the Dolphins took some strides in that match, and they absolutely did, particularly in the second set. A very strong second set. The Dolphins attacking at a match high 32% in that second set, which is very solid compared to what they did in the third set. 0 attacking percentage in that third set, 4 errors and 4 kills for the Dolphins in set number 3 as compared to set number 2, where they put together 11 kills and only 3 errors on 25 total attacks. So the Dolphins really made strides in that match against Ramapo, especially in the second set. The first set wasn't too bad, 8 kills and 6 errors, which of course isn't great, but compared to what the Dolphins did in set number 3, a set which they lost by 10 points, the work they did in the second set against Ramapo, easily their best of the match. Some leaders in that match for the Dolphins: Mark Palencia leading the Dolphins with 7 kills. He is their kill leader by a very wide margin on the season and had another effective outing against Ramapo College. Daniil Kukovitsky also added 5 kills. Kalik Baum added 4. A trio of Dolphins had a single service ace in that match. A pair of Dolphins with a couple of blocks. Daniil Kukovitsky with a single block, Jay Guo and Kalik Baum with 2 blocks each. Adil El Haddad leading the Dolphins in that match with 17 assists. Ronald Tisby defensively with 7 digs, Jay Guo with 6, and Mark Palencia with 5. The final tallies in that match in terms of set scores: the Dolphins lost set number 1, 25-18, set number 2, 25-19, and set number 3, 25-15, as both teams have taken the court here at the Sports and Recreation Center, and we're about set to get underway. Dolphins and Bloodhounds here on CSI Sportsnet, a CUNYAC conference matchup with seeding implications, as you mentioned earlier, Tom.
Yeah, look for the Dolphins really to get Kalik Baum going. With the basketball season over, he was a standout there. Now look for him to use his height here, which the Dolphins really missed in the first half of the season, to really get going and have Adil El Haddad set him up and try and use his height.
And we've mentioned several times throughout the season that the Dolphins do lack size at the net. That's given them problems blocking the attacks of the opposition, and Kalik Baum will certainly help them in that regard. The Dolphins men's basketball team, of course, coming off a CUNYAC championship, a championship they won about 3 weeks ago. As we're set to get underway, and we'll see if this volleyball team can work their way toward a CUNYAC championship. They have quite a way to go, as the first serve of the match is returned back over to the Dolphins side of the net quickly. Kalik Baum sends it back the other way and picks up the kill. Dolphins lead 1-0.
And there's that height we were just talking about. Kalik Baum's really got to get that confidence going.
And that's a good way to get it started, as that one is set and an attack sent over by the Bloodhounds. Baum pokes it towards the Bloodhound side, and that will be a kill for Juan De Jesus. So the Bloodhounds are on the board for the first time here tonight. Our score knotted up at 1, and we will have an early substitution for the Bloodhounds. It will be number 12. That is Alexander Sakalins checking in. I believe he replaced number 20, Kelvin Ortiz. So it will be Sakalins serving, and that will go down as a service ace. That one trickles over the net and lands in front of the Dolphins' front line.
That was just unfortunate there.
Bad roll for the Dolphins. It looked as if that one might come right back to the Bloodhounds. Instead, it goes down as a service ace. Our score 2-1. That serve handled awkwardly by Ronald Tisby, bumped up by Mark Palencia, and sent over by Jay Guo. Set up by Alvarado for De Jesus, who sees his heavy attack return back to the Bloodhounds side. The ball winds up with the Dolphins once again, and it is Kalik Baum who picks up the kill for CSI. And that knots the score back up at 2, as we'll have another substitution for the Bloodhounds. Ortiz checking in, and Sakalins checks out, but Ortiz will have to wait before he can officially take the court, as serve belongs to the Dolphins. It will be Mark Palencia serving for CSI. Palencia's serve travels toward the back line, and it's set up and attacked over by the Bloodhounds. Palencia sends an attack back the other way for the Dolphins, and it trickles off the hands of a Bloodhounds player on the front line. A kill for Mark Palencia, adding to his team leading total. Dolphins now lead 3-2. Palencia's serve a bit short, handled by the libero for the Bloodhounds. Juan De Jesus sends an attack back toward the Dolphins and picks up the kill for John Jay. Score now tied at 3.
The Dolphins had 2 blockers there, but he was able to just hit it right in between them for the point there, tied up at 3.
Nicely done by De Jesus. Bloodhounds serve to the Dolphins. It's bumped up in the air by Mark Palencia off the piping, which lines the ceiling here at the Sports and Recreation Center. That was a live ball, but the Dolphins could not handle it as it ricocheted awkwardly off of the piping. Bloodhounds take a 4-3 lead. Jerson Guaman serving for the Bloodhounds. It's bumped up by Mark Palencia, set by El Haddad for Baum, who see his attack blocked right back to him. He sends it over again toward John Jay. Juan De Jesus sends a strong attack over. It was dug out by Palencia. The ball now on the Bloodhound side of the net. Juan De Jesus attacks once again. It's set by El Haddad for Mark Palencia, who sees his attack travel over the back line. That's an attacking error committed by Mark Palencia. Bloodhounds take a 5-3 lead. Guaman serving once again for John Jay. It's bumped up by Ronald Tisby, set by El Haddad for Guo. And once again, the Dolphins send an attack well over that back line. And off of back-to-back attacking errors, to 6-3 score.
That's not Guo's game right there.
Short serve by Guaman. It's set, I believe, by El Haddad for Baum. And that point will go to the Dolphins. I believe a blocking error must have been called on that one as the point goes to CSI. It will be Stephen Caruso checking in for CSI, replacing Khalik Baum. Caruso will serve for CSI. Set by Alvarado for De Jesus, off the hands of two Dolphins at the net. A pair of Bloodhounds meet Daniil Kukovitsky at the net. Ball winds up with the Bloodhounds. Attack by De Jesus, set by El Haddad of the Dolphins. And Jay Guo picks up the kill for CSI as his attack ricocheted off the hands of a pair of Bloodhounds. Dolphins pulled to within a point.
That all started with Daniil Kukovitsky at the net, really blocking that and making sure his team had a chance to continue playing.
Nicely done by Kukovitsky, as you just mentioned. He took on two Bloodhounds himself. And as the action continues here, the Bloodhounds pick up a point, take a 2-point lead at 7-5, as Baum will check back in for the Dolphins, replacing Caruso, who takes a quick exit. Baum, however, will have to wait to come into the game, as serve belongs to the Bloodhounds. Juan De Jesus serving for John Jay, bumped up by Palencia, set by El Haddad for Kukovitsky, who sees his attack blocked. Set by El Haddad once again. This time it's Brandon Lay. His attack rolls off the fingertips of a Bloodhound. And that one set up for a Bloodhound attack. Kukovitsky sent it back over, sees it redirected right back to him. And that's a point for John Jay. A lot of action right up around the net. Daniil Kukovitsky putting in some good work around the net. Couldn't come away with the ball there in the attack for the Dolphins. Instead, it's a point for the Bloodhounds.
You can start to see both teams really get into the flow of the game. They're starting to get more touches on the ball, and it's not taking just 2 or 3 hits over the net for a point to get put up on the board.
Absolutely, some good back and forth action between these two teams, and a heavy attack there by the Bloodhounds' number 3, Christian Serdell. He picks up the kill, and the Bloodhounds extend their lead to 4. Our score now 9-5 in favor of John Jay. It will be Juan De Jesus serving once again. De Jesus serves, bumped up by Palencia, set by El Haddad for Brandon Lay, and his attack is completely rejected at the net by John Jay. Point goes to the Bloodhounds, who have now extended their lead to a match-high 5 points. Once again, Juan De Jesus serving for John Jay. De Jesus jumps and serves. It's bumped up by Tisby. Bumped up once again by El Haddad. Palencia sends it over. That one's set up for Serdell, and he is charged with an error on the attack. Point goes to CSI, who pulled to within 4. Our score now 10-6. Brandon Lay serving for CSI. Sends one toward the back line. It's bumped up in the air, and a miscommunication there by a pair of Bloodhounds. That was Alexander Santana and Steven Alvarado with the miscommunication, as both players look to set the ball. And quickly, the Dolphins give serve right back to the Bloodhounds as Brandon Lay sees his serve travel over the back line. A service error committed by the Dolphins. I believe that's their first of set number 1. Score now 11-7 in favor of John Jay. Alexander Santana serves. That one's set by El Haddad for Kukovitsky, who picks up the kill on the heavy attack. No chance for any Bloodhound to handle that one. Dolphins pulled to within 3 now. Our score 11-8.
That was a great set by Adil. He really gave Daniil every chance to bury that into the court, and Daniil took advantage.
He did, and a strong start to the match for Kukovitsky, as a whistle has been blown and a point awarded to the Dolphins. I believe it was something to do with the positioning of the Bloodhounds, so a point awarded to CSI. They're within 2, our score 11-9. Guo's serving. It's set up for Surdell. Ricochets off a couple of Dolphins, and nicely done by Ronald Tisby to send it back over. As that heavy attack by Ortiz is sent right back over. Ortiz will try again, and Tisby mishandles the attack by Kelvin Ortiz, who picks up the kill and extends the Bloodhounds' lead back to 3.
Guo had a great dig there to keep that play alive. It's unfortunate Tisby was unable to handle the second chance opportunity.
Nicely done by the Dolphins, giving themselves opportunities to pick up a point during that sequence. They couldn't do it. As El Haddad sets for Palencia, but that one is blocked over the boundary. So the Dolphins will pick up the point off of the kill by Mark Palencia, who continues to shine here for the Dolphins this season, picking up kills. It's Daniil Kukovitsky serving now. Set by Alvarado for Surdell. Bumped up in the air by a couple of Dolphins, and the attack by Guo was immediately sent back to him by Kelvin Ortiz. Credit Ortiz with the solo block. Point to the Bloodhounds, who now lead 13-10. As we will have a substitution for John Jay. Francisco Miranda checks in, replacing Christian Surdell.
You would think Kelvin Ortiz with his 6'8" frame would really have more blocks on the team, but you know, he sits in 5th with 13, but he picks up his 14th right there as a solo.
Well, Tom, I think 6'8" might be a bit of a stretch, as that one is blocked and kept in play by the Dolphins nicely. John Jay had been celebrating the block. The Dolphins now come up with a block at the net. John Jay sends it back over. A pair of Dolphins converge on the ball. Bit of a miscommunication. And again, a pair of Dolphins converge on the ball, but they send it back to John Jay. That one was set up for DeJesus, and he'll come away with the kill, extending the Bloodhounds' lead to 4.
You know, Joe, the Dolphins are not playing terrible right now. They just need better communication. They keep bumping into one another. If they clean that up, they can be in this game.
I completely agree with you on that, Tom. We saw 2 instances of that in that last sequence, as Dolphins will take serve right back following that service error committed by the Bloodhounds. Our score 14-11 in favor of John Jay here in set number 1. El Haddad's serve bumped up in the air on the back line by John Jay. An attempted attack is blocked by the Dolphins. The ball still with the Bloodhounds on their side of the net. Brandon Lay bumps it up in the air for CSI now, set by El Haddad. And Mark Palencia once again picks up the kill for the Dolphins, just continuing to add to that team leading total in that category. Dolphins pulled to within 2.
Palencia has been unstoppable this season. He leads the team with 125 kills. That's more than double of the next person, which is Danil.
Attacked by Juan DeJesus, blocked by the Dolphins. DeJesus will try once again. That attack reaches the back line. It was bumped up by Guo. Set for Palencia, who places that attack extremely well right along the boundary toward the bottom of your screen, and a well-placed heavy attack by Mark Palencia, adding to his kill total. Once again, he's having a very strong first set. He and Daniil Kukovitsky playing very well for CSI, who now are within a single point. El Haddad serves a well-placed serve. Juan DeJesus sends an attack to the Dolphins, and a good effort there by Adil El Haddad at the net, trying to keep that sequence alive. He could not. Point goes to the Bloodhounds, who take a 15-13 lead, as we will have another substitution for John Jay. Kelvin Ortiz checks out, and Alexander Sakalins checks back in.
You know, it's strange that they bring him in. He only has 5 service aces on the year, so we'll see what he can do with it here.
Not a strong serve there. It's set by El Haddad for Palencia, and the blocked attack falls right in the middle of the 6 Dolphins on the floor. So the point goes to the Bloodhounds, who now lead 16-13. You have to think it's a serving issue with Ortiz rather than the prowess of Sakalins serving, based on those stats you just gave me, Tom.
Absolutely there, Joe.
As that looked like a good serve off the fingertips of Palencia. Tisby handled it. The Dolphins send it back over. It's set by Alvarado for DeJesus. The Dolphins chasing toward their bench, and they can't come away with it, as the point goes to the Bloodhounds, who take a 4-point lead. A timeout has been called by Dolphins coach Jason Madsen. Our score here at the Sports and Recreation Center, 17-13 in favor of the Dolphins. Set number 1. And we'll join you once again in just a minute. We'll step aside here on CSI Sportsnet. When we come back from this timeout, Dolphins and Bloodhounds, our score 17-13 in favor of John Jay here on CSI Sportsnet. And we're back here from the Sports and Recreation Center. We pick up the action about 2/3 of the way through set number 1. Bloodhounds leading the Dolphins by a score of 17-13. Serve belongs to the Bloodhounds, and it will be Alexander Sakalan serving for John Jay. His serve bumped up by Mark Palencia, set by El Haddad. Palencia on the attack. It's handled by John Jay. Juan DeJesus sends an attack back the other way and picks up the kill, extending the Bloodhounds' lead to 5. I believe that matches their largest lead of this first set. Our score is 18-13. Collins serves once again, and it's set by El Haddad for Khalik Baum. A soft attack handled by John Jay. Juan DeJesus sends an attack back the other way, and the point goes to the Dolphins. I believe that attack ricocheted off the top of the net back in front of that John Jay front line. So the Dolphins pulled to within 4 once again. John Jay hasn't been able to extend their lead beyond 5 so far here in this first set. And it will be Mark Palencia serving for CSI, looking to bring the Dolphins back. As it's set by Alvarado for DeJesus, and DeJesus with a well-placed attack, picking up the kill. Dolphins back down by 5.
CSI is just going to get more discipline on their blocks. Those balls are falling right between their hands. Also, they got to take better advantage of Mark Palencia's serves. He leads the team with 17 aces.
Dolphins unable to take advantage of the Palencia serve there, but Khalik Baum takes full advantage of that set by Adil El Haddad, picks up the kill. No chance for any Bloodhound on that one, as Baum will quickly check out following that kill, giving way to Steven Caruso, who will serve for the Dolphins. Caruso's serve travels toward the back line, set by Alvarado for Santana, and that one ate up Steven Caruso as he couldn't dig it out. Dolphins back down by 5 once again, and exchanging points won't get it done here late in this first set as the Bloodhounds approach the 25 points necessary for a first set victory. Another substitution for the Bloodhounds, as well as Christian Serdell checks in, replacing Francisco Miranda. Juan DeJesus serving, and a strong serve by DeJesus. And I believe that was Ronald Tisby along the back line who initially made contact with it. Adil El Haddad couldn't get that ball up over the net, so a service ace credited to Juan DeJesus, as he'll serve once again. That one handled by Guo. Attacked by Kukovitsky. It's bumped up in the air by Alvarado. DeJesus with the attack, and Mark Palencia just couldn't gain his footing, square himself up.
Joe.
He was. Took the words right out of my mouth, Tom. He didn't get himself squared up in front of the ball on that one and couldn't bump it back up into the air or dig it out and keep the sequence alive. So it's DeJesus serving once again for John Jay. Set by El Haddad for Palencia. Bumped up in the air and back over to the Dolphins side of the net. El Haddad sets once again, and a well-placed attack by Daniil Kukovitsky as he picks up the kill. Dolphins pulled to within 6. Our score 22-16.
You know, Daniil's one of the taller players on the team, but when he goes up to attack the ball, he doesn't really hit with power. He goes more for placement and finesse. You can see that on the court. He finds his spots and just, kind of hits it over the blockers.
He's done great work around the net, and you're right, Tom. He has placed his attacks very well so far here in set number 1 as the Dolphins pulled to within 5. Our score 22-17. That attack rolls over the top of the net. Play still alive. And El Haddad sends it over for the Dolphins and picks up the kill. So CSI did a nice job keeping that sequence alive, and Adil El Haddad capitalizes, picks up the kill. More known for his assist, but the kill by El Haddad pulls CSI to within 4, and that service ace pulls the Dolphins to within 3. So Brandon Lay picks up the service ace for CSI as this match has gotten a whole lot closer here in set number 1. The deficit now only 3 for CSI.
You can see the momentum really starting to switch here.
Momentum has shifted as the Bloodhounds look to pick it back up with that attack. They could not. An attack by Mark Palencia sent toward John Jay. That one sent over back to the Dolphins weakly as it's blocked. That last attack blocked at the net by John Jay. I'm not sure it would have cleared the net otherwise, but that one will break the Dolphins' momentum and consecutive point streak. They now trail by 4, the score 23-19 in favor of John Jay. Alexander Santana serving and promptly commits a service error. The Bloodhounds didn't need that as they had just regained momentum here in set number 1, only 2 points away from a first set victory. Instead, now serve belongs to the Dolphins, trailing by 3. Served by Guo, handled by John Jay. Sudell sends it back to CSI. Set by El Haddad for Palencia, who picks up the kill. Mark Palencia continues his strong effort here in set number 1 for the Dolphins, who now trail by only 2. Our score 23-21 in favor of the Bloodhounds.
Palencia really found his mark there. He was able to get the defender to spread his arms and hit it right between.
Guo serves for CSI. Set up by Alvarado for Sudell, and that one blocked outside the boundaries by the Dolphins. Awfully close to coming up with a block on that one and being awarded the point. However, the Dolphins couldn't keep it in between the lines, and now John Jay is within a single point of a first set victory. The Bloodhound serve is handled by the Dolphins. Set by El Haddad for Palencia. His attack is dug out. Alvarado sets for Sudell, and I believe that was a ball handling error called on number 13 for the Bloodhounds, Steven Alvarado. So the Dolphins still alive here in set number 1. As it will be Daniil Kukovitsky serving. That one barely clears the top of the net. Alvarado sets, and the attack by Jerson Guaman did not clear the net. So the Dolphins now within a single point. Our score 24-23 here in set number 1. Some very entertaining back and forth action here in set number 1. We did anticipate that between these two teams as they come in very evenly matched. We'll have the conclusion of set number 1 here for you on CSI Sportsnet when we come back after this timeout. Our score, the Dolphins 23 and the Bloodhounds 24. Be sure to join us after the break. Both teams returning to the court from their respective benches relatively quickly. So we'll resume action here at the Sports and Recreation Center and quickly take a break from the action here at the Sports and Recreation Center as Daniil Kukovitsky sees his serve travel directly into the center of the net. That final point of set number 1 awarded to the Bloodhounds of John Jay, who takes set number 1 by a score of 25-23. We'll be back in a couple of minutes to bring you coverage of set number 2 here from the Sports and Recreation Center. Once again, our final score of set number 1, the Bloodhounds 25 and the Dolphins 23. We'll be right back with more NCAA Division III CUNYAC men's volleyball here on CSI Sportsnet. Joe Foreman and Tom Krichkowski back with you here from the Sports and Recreation Center at the College of Staten Island, getting ready to bring you coverage of set number 2 in this volleyball match between the Bloodhounds of John Jay College and your CSI Dolphins. And in just a few moments, I'll turn it over to Tom Krichkowski, who has the play-by-play in set number 2.
You know, let's go over some of the stats from that last set, Joe. Both Mark Palencia and Kalik Baum tallied 4 kills for the Dolphins, while Kukovitsi added in support with 2. For the Bloodhounds, though, it was Juan De Jesus all over it. Had his name written all over that stat sheet with 8 kills on 19 total attacks.
And a great job by De Jesus for John Jay. And you mentioned some Dolphins who stood out in that first set. Mark Palencia did a great job leading the team in kills. Daniil Kukovitski also did a good job for the Dolphins in set number 1. We'll see if they can continue that good work here in set number 2.
Serving duties right now is number 5, Francisco Miranda for the Bloodhounds. Serves that one over the net. Nice dig there by Guo. Looked like it was going to go out of bounds, but Adil El Haddad made the save, hit it over right off of a Bloodhound to put the Dolphins up 1-0.
We've seen a lot of action right around the net, Tom. Players converging, some good action up front by both teams.
Absolutely, Joe. Adil El Haddad will serve this one over the net. It's set up. Nice kill there by Juan De Jesus. Hit a little too hard for El Haddad, who was unable to handle that one cleanly.
A very heavy attack by De Jesus there. That one completely ate up El Haddad. Not much more he could have done. He gave it a good effort. Score knotted up at 1.
Here comes Alexander Sakalins again for the Bloodhounds. Serves that one just over the net. El Haddad sets one up there for Palencia, who collects a kill there for the Dolphins.
Nicely done by Palencia, picking up yet another kill, as we will have a Bloodhound substitution once again. Sakalins and Ortiz will trade places. Ortiz will have to wait to take his spot back on the court, as serve belongs to CSI.
Palencia behind the line here for the serve. Sends it to the back row. Set up for the Bloodhounds. Collecting the kill is Alexander Santana. Normally not known for his kills. He leads the team in blocks, so it's a little bit of uncharted territory for him.
Nicely executed attack there by Santana, evening up the score at 2. And it will be Jerson Guaman serving for John Jay.
Guaman puts a laser over the net, dug well by Palencia. Beautiful set there by El Haddad. Baum is easily able to find an opening in the back row.
Kalik took full advantage of another good set by Adil El Haddad. Baum has often been the beneficiary of assists from El Haddad so far here in this match, as Stephen Caruso replaces Kalik and will serve.
Caruso puts one over the net. It's set up for the Bloodhounds. A long hit to the back row. Palencia is able to corral that. Danil hits one over the net. Fingertip save. It's sent back over by the Bloodhounds. Set up by El Haddad, whose hit is recorded as a kill by Kukovitski.
Nicely done by Daniil once again. You mentioned in the first set, Tom, that he's placed his attacks very well, and he does so once again right there. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that save by Francisco Miranda. I don't know how he got a piece of that off the barring.
It was a great fingertip dive right there. Little placement continuation hit over by the Bloodhounds. Set up by Lay. Whoa, recording the kill there on a nice placement shot. Dolphins lead 5-2.
Once again, the Dolphins placing their attacks well. The Bloodhounds may have to adjust.
Caruso lines up a serve. Dug out well by the Bloodhounds. Set up. De Jesus once again finding that open spot in the back row. A little misread there by El Haddad. Thought it was going to go out of bounds.
It's been all Juan De Jesus so far on the attack for John Jay. He's done a great job for the Bloodhounds so far here in this match. He did so in the first set and continues to do so here in set number 2. De Jesus will be serving for John Jay.
De Jesus misses his opportunity and hits one right into the net to put the Dolphins up 6-3 here in the second set.
And based on what we saw from Juan serving in the first set, that seems to be uncharacteristic of him. His serves have been generally very good.
Absolutely. He took full advantage of them in the first set. On a ball that looked like it was going out, Christian Serdell was able to record a kill to close the gap on the Dolphins with just 2.
think you're right about that one, Tom. It looked like that one may travel over the back line. At the very least, it was going to be very close, and Ronald Tisby tried to make a play on it and could not.
Alexander Santana here with the serve. Dug well by Palencia. Low set there by El Haddad. Kukovitsi able to make the best of it. Gets a second opportunity, does not miss that chance as El Haddad sets Kukovitsi up once again. And there's Kukovitsi once again placing his shot, not using power.
And he's done a great job around the net, both on the attack and on the defense for the Dolphins. He's blocked shots, come away with some kills, and a great job by Daniil so far here tonight.
Guo sends one into the crowd. Set up for the Bloodhounds. Serdell sends one far back, giving the point to the Dolphins.
At least half a court's length worth of space between the back line where that ball ended up, as the banner was dislodged from the entry doors here to the Sports and Recreation Center by that one.
Serdell gets a second opportunity at it. The Dolphins are called for a blocking error. That's unfortunate there, Joe.
Yes, it is. The Dolphins have done good work around the net so far here tonight. We haven't seen many of those committed by CSI. Their lead is now trimmed to 3. Our score 8-5.
Steven Alvarado here to serve for the Bloodhounds. Dug up by Tisby. Palencia looked like he wanted a higher setup there. Was able to just hit it over. Juan De Jesus hits a screamer over the other side. Dug well by Guo, but sends it right back over for Kelvin Ortiz, who just taps it down for the point for the Bloodhounds.
Well, Ortiz, you mentioned earlier, listed at 6'8", gives the Bloodhounds a presence up around the net that the Dolphins just don't have, as that serve travels directly into the net. But back to what we were just saying, the Dolphins, I believe, only have a pair of players listed at least 6 feet tall, those being Khalid Baum listed at 6'4", and Daniil Kukovitsi listed at 6 feet, as the action continues.
Kukovitsi hits one over the net on the serve. Bloodhounds unable to corral that perfectly. Brandon Lay passes the ball to El Haddad, who decides to, instead of set it up, confuse the defense and just hit it over for the point.
An easy point picked up there by the Dolphins. The Bloodhounds didn't seem ready for El Haddad to attack.
Kukovitsi sends a line drive over the net. Bad pass there. And Serdell was unable to hit that one over the net. Hits it straight into the net, which causes the Bloodhounds to call a timeout and send us into a break here.
Well, we'll step aside for just a moment, as I believe it was John Jay calling that timeout here about midway through set number 2. The Dolphins lead the Bloodhounds by a score of 11-6. We'll be right back here on CSI Sportsnet with more CUNYAC volleyball coverage on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
And we're back here at the CSI Sports and Recreation Center with the Dolphins to serve. Kukovitsi sends a line drive over the net. Dug well by the Bloodhounds, but once again, Palencia and Baum were able to get there to block that shot.
Dolphins continue to do solid work around the net, and that's been the big difference here in the second set, both attacking and defense around the middle boundary. And at that point, we'll go to John Jay.
There's that 6'8", Kelvin Ortiz. Clearly listed taller than he really is, but he's able to get above that net and secure a point there for the Bloodhounds.
No doubt he has size. I'm not sure about 6 foot 8 inches worth of size.
Francisco Miranda behind the line for this one. Sends a hard line drive over the net. Fielded well by Palencia, who has his kill attempt blocked at the net by Ortiz.
Well, that one shut down nicely by Kelvin Ortiz, making full use of his size up front. as the Dolphins and Bloodhounds continue to battle around the net. A lot of action near the middle of your screen.
Miranda to serve once again. A little too strong on that one. Sends it past the back line to give the Dolphins a 13-8 lead with El Haddad coming up here to serve for the Dolphins.
And in a competitive back-and-forth match, service errors are something that neither team can afford. These two teams clearly very evenly matched, and these unforced errors absolutely can hurt both sides.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to commit errors, especially with, CUNYAC playoff seeding on the line. There's Juan De Jesus once again. The Dolphins have to do a better job getting one of the taller players like Baum to follow him around the court and really block his shots.
It seemed like in the first set the Dolphins were really on his case along the top of your screen on the far side of the net away from us. A lot of action over there, De Jesus attacking and the Dolphins attempting to block. Not so much so here in the second set.
Little floater serve over here. El Haddad, seeing a bomb, was already midair, sends a low setup so Khalid Baum could come down on it with full force, giving the Dolphins a 14-9 lead here in the second set.
And the El Haddad Baum connection has proven to be one that's been very fruitful for the Dolphins here tonight. A lot of kills coming from that combination.
Set up here by the Bloodhounds. Shot found the middle of the net. The Bloodhounds are really having trouble offensively here this game, while the Dolphins seem to be, firing on all cylinders.
The Dolphins did have momentum towards the end of that first set. A comeback effort fell short, but they have absolutely grasped the momentum firmly here in set number 2.
Valencia sends one to the far top of your screen, sent back over. El Haddad sets one up for Lay. Lay sends one to the back line, which is unable to be dug cleanly, putting the Dolphins up 16-9.
Bloodhounds tried to scramble for it, almost found themselves on top of the scorer's table. Fortunately, that was not the case. Point goes to CSI. Score 16-9. Mark Palencia serving.
Jump here, serve here by Palencia. Dug well by the Bloodhounds. Set up. And once again, the set is too far off of the net and sees the attacking attempt go into the middle of the net here.
We've seen quite a few errors committed by the Bloodhounds here in set number 2, and that may be why we will have a timeout called by John Jay. So we will step aside once again for just a minute, and when we come back, we'll pick up the action. The score, the Dolphins 17 and the Bloodhounds 9. The Dolphins trail 1-0 as we get set for the conclusion of set number 2 when we return here on CSI Sportsnet.
And we're back here at the CSI Sports and Recreation Center. Palencia behind the line here to serve for the Dolphins. Sends over a wobbly serve here. Set up. Juan De Jesus with the attack and once again finds the kill at the back line.
And if the Bloodhounds are looking to make a comeback here in set number 2, they will likely have to do it on the back of Juan De Jesus, who's been their go-to attacker so far here in this match.
Jerson Guaman here with the serve for the Bloodhounds. Sends a wild serve over, set up by El Haddad, too far over the net, and an easy kill for, I think that was Guaman.
Well, either way, it was misplayed by the Dolphins. It looked like 5 Dolphins were running up toward the net, maybe to block, and that attack just fell right in behind them.
Absolutely. El Haddad here with the set for Baum, who strikes one right at the server, and it flies out of bounds off of the hands of the defender for the Bloodhounds, giving the points 18-11 for the Dolphins.
Nicely done by Kalik once again, who will take a seat as Steven Caruso checks in to replace him, and he will serve.
Set up here by the Bloodhounds. Dug cleanly by the Dolphins. Set up by El Haddad. Jaguar sends one too far out of bounds. It is now 18-12 in favor of the Dolphins.
We mentioned unforced errors being a big factor in determining who can win on a set-to-set basis, and the Dolphins haven't committed many of those unforced errors so far. There's one right there.
Absolutely. This match is going to be determined by which team causes less errors in the game. El Haddad sets one up for Mark Palencia coming off that back line. A little too strong, misjudged his strength there. And then hands the ball back into the Bloodhounds. Served over. Service ace there by the Bloodhounds. Little miscommunication there on the Dolphins' side.
I can't even fathom what happened there. Maybe I didn't catch it completely, but it looked like the ball hit off a Dolphin near the top of your screen along the far boundary, and then a pair of Dolphins decided to let it go along the near boundary.
De Jesus sends one to the back line and serve. El Haddad sets up a low set for Kukovitsky, which scrambles the Bloodhound defense to hit one over. Dolphins send it back over. Alvarado sends one over. El Haddad sets up Guo once again, able to trick the defenders going up for the block and just tap it over both of them as they both come down for the easy kill.
You're right, Tom. It looked like he deceived the defense a little bit there. These soft, well-placed attacks have served the Dolphins well so far.
Brandon Lay serves one low into the middle of the court. Not well enough, though, as Bloodhounds are able to find an open spot in the Dolphins' defense to make this a 4-point contest.
Well, it looked like the Dolphins had picked up a momentum-killing point on that last kill, but the Bloodhounds seized momentum right back and now trail by only 4. The score 19-15 here in set number 2. This has been a really back-and-forth match so far.
Michael Chabla comes in and, hits one right off the net, putting the Dolphins up 5, 20-15, with Jay Guo here to serve for the Dolphins.
Well, not the way you want to make your first entry into the match there, committing a service error in that situation.
Guo sends one into the middle of the court, set up by Alvarado, and Ortiz sends one out of bounds. Looks like it came off his hand a little bit wrong there, Joe.
It definitely did, but the officials seemed to be just a complete befuddlement over what to call there. They waited quite a bit.
Guo sends one over to serve. Sertle's attempt blocked by El Haddad. Gives his team an opportunity to set one up, and Palencia comes down with the kill for the Dolphins.
Mark Palencia continues his strong effort here tonight. That seems to be something we're saying just about every broadcast.
Guo sends one into the middle of the court, handled poorly by the Bloodhounds. Sent over by the Bloodhounds. Dill sets up Palencia, just tries to trick the defense with a soft touch. Sertle hits one over, dug by Tisby, set up by Kukovitsky, and Palencia hits one over. Sertle with the attack. Good save, diving save there by Lay. But the attacking attempt from the back line for the Dolphins goes out far to the top of your screen.
Very strong effort there by Brandon Lay, saving that sequence, keeping it going. Unfortunately, the Dolphins couldn't capitalize and come away with a point. John Jay within 6.
Alvarado here with the serve. Adil sets up Palencia, who takes full advantage of that. Despite the 2 blockers in his face, hits him off of him and sends the ball out of bounds for the Dolphins' point to put them within 2 of taking set 2.
Well, you mentioned Daniil Kukovitsky goes with a softer attack. That definitely can't be said about Mark Palencia, who put forth a heavy attack there.
The poor passing there by the Bloodhounds forces them to just turn the ball over. Unfortunately, though, Baum sees his attempt blocked at the net by a pair of blockers, one of which is Ortiz.
Done very nicely there on the block by John Jay. Miranda checks in, as you were just about to say, Tom.
Miranda serves one over the net. Dug by Palencia, and it's sent over by Tisby. Set up by Alvarado. Attacking attempt by Ortiz. Sent back over to the Bloodhound side. And Juan De Jesus once again finds a spot in the back line between Tisby and Guo for the point. John Jay's starting to gain momentum here with the Dolphins just 2 points away from victory.
Since that timeout, John Jay has had the advantage.
Miranda sends one over. Guo dug nicely. Adil finds Palencia with a soft touch, but it's dug well by the Bloodhounds. De Jesus tries to find that open spot in the back line, unable to. But El Haddad tries to set one up, sees it go errant off his hands. in favor of the Bloodhounds.
And we will have a timeout called by Dolphins head coach Jason Madsen as the Bloodhounds have come storming back here in set number 2. I believe they trailed 17-9 at the last timeout. They now only trail by 4. Our score 23-19. That will be our score when we come back with more NCAA Division III men's volleyball coverage here on CSI Sportsnet.
And we're back here with the Bloodhounds here to serve. Francisco Miranda sends one high arcing serve to the back line. El Haddad sets up Baum, who hits it over. Attacking attempt here by the Bloodhounds, sent back over to the Dolphins, who just send it back over as they are unable to set up a successful attack. Here's an attack here for the Bloodhounds, and Ortiz takes full advantage and hits Guo right in the chest there.
Jay Guo didn't stand a chance on that one. Fortunately for him, he was hitting the chest and not a bit higher.
That would have been bad luck for his glasses. Miranda sends one over to Guo, passes it to El Haddad, who finds Baum, who takes advantage of it and puts the Dolphins up for 24-20. The Dolphins now just need one more point to take set 2.
And they desperately needed that point. The difference between 24-20 and 23-21 is big. Dolphins now, as you mentioned, within a single point of set number 2 victory.
El Haddad sends one to the back line, set up there by the Bloodhounds, which sees Baum tip it, which saves it and sends it back over. Here's a hit by Ortiz, who finds an opening on the sideline and buries it. It is a 3-point game here, 24-21 in favor of the Dolphins.
Bloodhounds keeping things alive here late in set number 2. It's been a good set for Kelvin Ortiz. Good work attacking around the net and blocking shots, or attacks, I should say.
Here's Sakarins for the serve for the Bloodhounds. Hits a high arcing serve over the net. El Haddad finds Palencia, who hits it right into a double person blocked by De Jesus and Santana. The Bloodhounds have really gained ground over the Dolphins ever since that timeout. Sakara's here with the serve. Once again, high arcing to the back line. El Haddad sets up Baum nicely. Baum takes full advantage, but dug well. Free ball over for the Dolphins. El Haddad sent it far to the top of your screen to Palencia, who sent it to the back line. Dug well. De Jesus takes advantage of his attack. Dug well by Tisby. El Haddad sets up Palencia for the kill, and the Dolphins take the second set of the night. The match is now tied up at 1 with both teams switching sides.
Well, that second set, I'm sure, is a lot closer than the Dolphins would have wanted it to be. They had an 8-point lead going into that timeout that you mentioned before, and then coming out of that timeout, John Jay seemed to be a completely different team. They seized momentum, but could not capitalize on it with a second set victory. The Dolphins' 8-point lead, just too much of a deficit for John Jay to overcome. And we come back, we will have coverage of set number 3. This match tied at 1 set apiece between the Bloodhounds and Dolphins. More NCAA Division III men's volleyball when we come back here on CSI Sportsnet. And we're back here from the Sports and Recreation Center as both teams have taken the court in preparation for the start of set number 3 in this NCAA Division III CUNYAC men's volleyball match between the Dolphins of the College of Staten Island and the Bloodhounds of John Jay College. Going into this third set, these teams even at 1 set apiece. El Haddad was serving for the Dolphins. It's set by Alvarado, and awarding the kill is Edwin Fernandez, who I believe is making his first appearance in this match.
Some extra size in there. We saw him warming up. He was, he had some strong hits, but it was strange not to see him in the first 2 sets. But, maybe since the Dolphins took a set off the Bloodhounds, they're going to start bringing in the heavy guns.
We'll see how that impacts this third set as El Haddad sets for Baum, and Baum picks up the kill after a moment's delay on the ruling. Score now even at 1 point aside. Serve belongs to the Dolphins.
The size of the Bloodhounds really hasn't been an issue for the Dolphins today, as it's been Juan De Jesus finding his open spots. He has 14 kills on the night, so the Dolphins are really going to have to find a way to stop him from scoring in order to get really going in this game.
You've got that right, Tom, as once again it's Edwin Fernandez who picks up the kill for the Bloodhounds. He has a pair of kills early here in set number 3, giving the Bloodhounds a 2-1 lead. And Tom, you mentioned that it's been Juan De Jesus for the Bloodhounds. The Dolphins have had a variety of players getting involved on the attack and picking up kills so far. We'll see if the Bloodhounds are able to make up that difference.
Just as I said, size really isn't doing the Dolphins in. At 6'4", Edwin Fernandez buries one to the back line.
Score now knotted up at 2, as we will have a substitution, Caruso for Baum. And Caruso will be serving, as has been the case each time he's replaced Baum in the match tonight. Caruso's serve is handled by the Bloodhounds. Alvarado sets for Hernandez. His attack is dug out. It's sent back over to John Jay. Alvarado sets once again for De Jesus, and his attack ricochets right off the net. No block on that one. Instead, an error on the attack committed, and the Dolphins take a 3-2 lead.
That is De Jesus' just second error on the night on 32 total attacks.
He's attacked at a very high percentage, picking up many kills, keeping the errors down as El Haddad sets for Guo. It's handled easily by John Jay, but a poor set attempt there, and that will result in a point for the Dolphins. 1 touch too many by the Bloodhounds. Dolphins lead 4-2. They're off to a good start here in set number 3. Steven Caruso will be serving for CSI. Caruso's serve travels to the back line. It's dug out by John Jay, set by Alvarado for Santana. His attack dug out by the Dolphins. It's Brandon Lay with the attack for CSI, bumped up in the air by Godwin Sequeira. Ball winds up on the Dolphins' side of the net, and miscommunication and mishandling of the ball along the back line results in a point to the Bloodhounds.
El Haddad is normally Mr. Reliable when it comes to settings. Just unfortunate there to have the ball careen off his left arm and past the back line.
We've seen many instances of players converging on the same location. Players came close there as De Jesus sees his serve handled. El Haddad sets for Kukovitsky, who tries to place an attack beyond the front line. He cannot. And the attack by Edwin Fernandez back the other way, well placed inside the boundary along the bottom of your screen. Hernandez picks up his 3rd kill of this 3rd set, score knotted up at 4.
Palencia just misjudged that one, thought it was going out of bounds, and just watched it bounce on the interior of that line, knotting this one up at 4.
And you mentioned it before, Tom, really questioning why we hadn't seen Hernandez sooner. And he's raising that question himself now with his play in this 3rd set as we resume action with an attack by Santana. It's dug out by the Dolphins, set up for Palencia, who picks up the kill. That one ate up Juan De Jesus along the back line, tried to lean forward and bump it up in the air. He could not. Dolphins take a 5-4 lead. Served by Lay. A pair of Bloodhounds converge on it. It's set up for Serdell, and that one coming over toward us off the diving bump up into the air. I believe it was Ronald Tisby who made contact with that one. It's out of play, and credit the kill to Christian Serdell, as we'll have a substitution for John Jay. Kelvin Ortiz checks back in, replacing Jerson Guaman. Serve belongs to John Jay. Our score knotted up at 5. The serve by Santana, dug out by the Dolphins. Sent over weakly by Mark Palencia. Set by Alvarado, and once again, it's Edwin Fernandez picking up the kill for John Jay. He's done a great job for them so far here in this third set, and they take a 6-5 lead.
Palencia once again misjudged that. That ball did have a wicked dip there at the end, whereas Palencia thought it was going to be able to dig it, pass it right on, dip right under his arms.
What a performance by the 6'4" freshman from the Bronx for John Jay here in this third set as the Dolphins scramble to track that ball down. Nicely done by El Haddad, retrieving it near the scorer's table. And the attack by Christian Sodell is blocked by Danilo Kukovitsky. Credit him with a solo block. Point goes to the Dolphins. They've knotted the score up at 6.
That is one of Kukovitsky's specialties right there, is blocking the ball.
He's making full use of his 6-foot frame as Sodell sends an attack well over the back line. Nicely done by Ronald Tisby, letting that go. And the Dolphins take the lead, 7-6.
Kukovitsky has 29 blocks on the season. That marks his 20th solo block of the season.
Very impressive number there for Kukovitsky defensively as action resumes with the set by Alvarado for Sodell, and he picks up the kill. Credit Christian Sodell with another kill. I believe that's his second of the third set, evening up the score at 7 points aside. It will be Steven Alvarado serving for John Jay. Alvarado serves, dug out by Tisby. Set by El Haddad for Kukovitsky, who tried to put a lot more behind that attack. And I believe a blocking error was charged to the Bloodhounds as the point goes to the Dolphins. They now lead 8-7.
Kukovitsky decided to go power there for once tonight. Turned out well.
That serve barely clears the top of the net. It's set by Alvarado for Hernandez, and no chance for any Dolphin. And it's fair to ask the question, why haven't we seen more of Edwin Fernandez so far here tonight? His performance here in this third set so far has been remarkable. I believe he's responsible for 6 of his team's 8 points. At the very least, he's responsible for 5 points off of kills. Serve now belongs to his team, John Jay, as Francisco Miranda places that one just outside the boundary near the bottom of your screen. Another unforced error by the Bloodhounds. They had stayed error-free so far in this set on their serves and attacks. That gives the Dolphins the lead 9-8. Adil El Haddad serves. It's bumped up in the air by Miranda. Set for De Jesus by Alvarado. However, the Dolphins successfully block that one up front, pick up the point, and take a 2-point lead. El Haddad serves once again. Knocked up in the air by Sequeira. Hernandez on the attack, and there's another kill for Edwin Fernandez. What haven't we said about him already here in this third set?
No, you're absolutely right, Joe. His height is, causing a factor in this game now, whereas before Baum was able to get on top of that ball, Hernandez was able to just get on top of Khalid Baum that time and use his height to really hit it over him.
We mentioned the Bloodhound attack was riding on the back of Juan De Jesus. He now has some help with Edwin Fernandez really stepping up the offensive attacking game of the Bloodhounds here in this third set. His play has been stellar to say the least so far, as the score is now evened up at 10 points aside. That was Jerson Guaman serving, and Khalid Baum picking up the kill for CSI, who regained the lead quickly. Our score now 11-10 in favor of CSI.
Great spot there by Baum.
Substitution once again for John Jay. Ortiz replaces Guaman, who'll have to wait to take his spot on the court, as it will be Mark Palencia serving for CSI. Palencia's serve travels toward the back line. A pair of Bloodhounds converged. It was bumped up in the air, set up for De Jesus. His attack is dug out by the Dolphins. Mark Palencia sends one over softly. Bumped up in the air by Sequeira. And that one's set up for Edwin Fernandez, who picks up yet another kill on a well-placed heavy attack, evening up the score at 11 points aside.
Jason Maskin is really going to either have to call a timeout at some point in this match or after this set is complete to really devise a plan to stop Hernandez.
An adjustment is definitely necessary as Hernandez sends that serve straight into the net. Perhaps that's why he hasn't seen more time, but he can easily be replaced when his turn to serve comes around. So perhaps that's a hole in this game right there. We'll see if that proves to be an issue for him moving forward, as Steven Caruso serving for the Dolphins. Ball back on the side of CSI. And that point is awarded to the Dolphins as a blocking error was charged up front against John Jay. Dolphins lead by 2. Our score 13-11.
I think Guo was actually just able to hit that off of them, Joe, as opposed to a blocking error.
Either way, it is a point for CSI as action resumes. That one's sent back over to the Dolphins. El Haddad sets for Kukovitsky. His attack is dug out. Sent over gently by Edwin Fernandez, who has demonstrated effective attacks both with power and finesse, as that one was well placed in between Dolphins players. Kalik Baum returns. Steven Caruso checks out. Also checking in for John Jay is Christian Serdell, replacing Francisco Miranda.
You know, Joe, out of the Bloodhounds' 12 points, Hernandez has 9 kills in just one set.
And that is very impressive to say the least, as we've already been effusive with our praise of him in set number 3. But Juan De Jesus really needed some help, and it has come here in this third set in the form of Edwin Fernandez, as that's set up by Alvarado for Santana, blocked. Set by Alvarado once again for Hernandez. And add another kill to that 9-kill total. Edwin Fernandez really putting the Bloodhounds on his back offensively in this third set.
That's now 10 kills on 11 attacks for him.
He's propelled them to a lead now. The Bloodhounds have rattled off 3 consecutive points, as Steven Alvarado sends a rare attack over. Jay Guo sends one back to John Jay. Set by Alvarado for Santana, and Alexander Santana picks up a kill. Another Bloodhound getting in on the attack, and Jason Madsen will finally call a timeout, as he has seen his team lose grip on what was a 2-point lead, 13-11. The Dolphins now trail 15-13 here in set number 3. This match even at 1 set aside. We'll be right back with coverage of the second half of set number 3 here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. And we're back here as we resume set number 3. Our score, the Bloodhounds 15, the Dolphins 13. Action around the net once again as Jay Guo sends that attack over. Ball now with the Bloodhounds. And an attack by Serdell. I thought was blocked by Kukovitsky, but instead I believe an error was charged.
He got the clean block on it, but it careened out of bounds.
As the serve travels right into another service error committed by Juan De Jesus. So the Dolphins will regain serve, trailing now by 2 points, as Brandon Lay sends a serve toward the back line. Handled by John Jay, set for Hernandez by Alvarado. Ball at the Dolphins, it's set by El Haddad for Guo. Alvarado sets for the Bloodhounds. Serdell sees his attack blocked. It's sent back over to the Dolphins, bumped up by Tisby. Set for Kukovitsky by El Haddad. Kukovitsky sees his attack blocked, and John Jay has extended their lead now to a set-high 3 points.
Kukovitsky went power there when he should have went finesse. Just hit it right over those blockers because he was already coming down out of his jump for that.
Got that right, Tom. He hasn't made many mistakes so far here in this match tonight, but made one right there in terms of choosing between power and finesse. Dolphins now trail by 3 as the serve by Santana, bumped up in the air by Ronald Tisby, bumped up in the air again by Lay and sent over by Palencia. Alvarado sets for Ortiz, and no chance for the Dolphins there as Ortiz spiked that one straight downward into 2 Dolphins. The ball fell at their feet right up in front of the net. The Dolphins now trail by a set-high 4 points, and after taking set number 2, and really it looked like they had seized control of this match, now find themselves trailing late here in the third set. That serve was handled by the Dolphins, set by El Haddad for Guo, who sends it over weakly. Alvarado sets for Serdell, and that one ricocheted off the net and back toward John Jay. Point goes to the Dolphins, who close in on the deficit, or close in on the Bloodhounds' 18 points, have trimmed the deficit to 3.
Dolphins need a nice run here.
A run similar to what we saw from John Jay in the second set would certainly benefit the Dolphins right now. As Alvarado sets up Serdell, a pair of Dolphins converging on that ball, couldn't come away with it as Tisby and Lay both made diving attempts. They come up empty, and the lead goes back to 4 for John Jay. The score now 19-15.
Serdell has surely seen his share of attacks tonight, 24. However, only 7 kills with 8 errors.
Well, the errors have absolutely been an issue as Mark Palencia commits an error right there, and the Bloodhound lead is extended to 5. So I was going to say, Tom, perhaps it's not fair to single out Juan De Jesus as the sole attacker for the Bloodhounds. Christian Serdell has definitely been involved. Unfortunately, the errors have been an issue for him. As Kukovitsky's attack ricochets off the fingertips of Serdell, and Kukovitsky picks up the kill as the Dolphins close the deficit down to 4. We do have a CSI tennis score for you. CSI Tennis has picked up a 9-0 victory in their match, which just concluded.
Speaking of the CSI tennis team, that is the first win on the season. So they moved to 1-2 on the year with a clean sweep of St. Joseph's College, Long Island.
So the CSI tennis team in the win column, and the CSI men's volleyball team looks to add one more to the win column here tonight. Serve belongs to the Bloodhounds. That was Francisco Miranda serving, and Khalik Baum picking up the kill for the Dolphins. A well-placed heavy attack there. Dolphins once again close the gap down to 4, but they're running out of time here in set number 3.
You know, Khalik Baum is really, silenced a little bit in this third set here. But with that kill, hopefully he can get going, get the Dolphins on a run here to close this deficit and take the win.
Deficit is 4. Serve belonging to the Dolphins. The Bloodhounds send it back over towards CSI. El Haddad sets for Baum. Bumped up by Sequeira. Set by Alvarado for Hernandez. Nicely dug out there by Tisby, I believe off the hands of a teammate first. That Dolphins attack by Mark Palencia is blocked. Set up for Brandon Lay. And a diving attempt there by Alvarado to keep play alive. Bumped over by Edwin Hernandez. Set by El Haddad for Baum. And Baum sees his attack blocked at the net. Ortiz and Hernandez, just 2 of several Bloodhounds who converged on that attacking attempt. And John Jay has extended their lead to 5 late here in set number 3.
Baum had the height there on that jump, just mishit it right into the lower half of the blockers there for the Bloodhounds. Had he hit that, left or right, he would have had himself a nice clean kill.
Jerson Guaman with the serve for John Jay. El Haddad sets for Mark Palencia, sees his attack travel well over the back line, and the error on the attack by Palencia extends the Bloodhounds lead to 6. And a timeout has been called by Dolphins head coach Jason Madsen, as he sees his team now within 2 points of falling in set number 3 to the Bloodhounds. The Bloodhounds lead set number 3 by a score of 23-17. We'll be back within a minute or so once this timeout break concludes. Once again, our score here in set number 3, the Bloodhounds 23 and the Dolphins 17. This match even at 1 set apiece. We'll be right back here on CSI Sportsnet. And we're back here from the Sports and Recreation Center as the conclusion of set number 3 is upcoming. Bloodhounds within 2 points of a third set victory. The Dolphins look to take a 2-1 lead if they can make a comeback. As this sequence ends with a dig that travels out of bounds and a kill credited to the Bloodhounds. I'm not quite sure who was credited with that kill. Out of action as we return from break, but the score is now 24-17 in favor of John Jay. They're within a point of a victory here in set number 3. Teams knotted up at 1 set apiece. It's set by El Haddad for Palencia, and that will conclude set number 3 as it's blocked nicely at the net by the Bloodhounds, sent right back onto the Dolphins side. And John Jay has taken the 3rd set of this match. They now lead 2 sets to 1 here at the Sports and Recreation Center. We'll be back with you with the call of set number 4. Once again, the Bloodhounds lead the Dolphins 2 sets to 1. They take set number 3 by a score of 25-17. After the break, more CUNYAC NCAA Division III men's volleyball here on CSI Sportsnet, csidolphins.com. And we're back here from the Sports and Recreation Center on the campus of the College of Staten Island. Set 4 upcoming between the Dolphins and Bloodhounds. John Jay leads this CUNYAC conference matchup 2 sets to 1. And Tom, will take a quick look at the stats from this match coming into set number 4. Again, the Bloodhounds leading 2 sets to 1. And what really jumps out for John Jay first, Juan DeJesus with 15 kills on only 3 attacking errors. But Edwin Fernandez, who only played in the 3rd set, picked up 10 kills on 13 total attacks and did not commit a single error, attacking at a remarkable 77%.
Yeah, if you're looking at your stat sheet and you want to see circle another thing that really stands out is the team blocks. John Jay coming in with a whopping 8 compared to just 2 for the Dolphins.
We mentioned how size hadn't really impacted the Dolphins earlier in this match. It certainly impacted set number 3. We saw Kalik Baum quieted down, as you mentioned before, and the Dolphins really struggled through set number 3 in terms of picking up kills. Only 7 for the Dolphins in set number 3 as opposed to 14 and 13 in the first 2 sets. The Dolphins attacking very poorly in the 3rd set as well. As I'll turn it over to Tom Krichkowski for the call of set number 4.
Francisco Miranda with the serve for the Bloodhounds, sends it over, which El Haddad sets up for Baum, who hits it right into a pair of blockers for the Bloodhounds. With a continuation play, Guo takes his attacking attempt into the net to give the Hounds a 1-0 lead to start this set. Steven Caruso will check in for Mark Palencia as Miranda gets ready to serve the ball back over. Caruso getting right into the action, digging the pass to El Haddad, who passes it to Baum, who hits it over the net. As the Bloodhounds just tap one over and waiting on the call here by the officials.
Looks like the official is saying that attack traveled outside the post.
Yes, so we have an attacking error on Edwin Fernandez, his first of the night. El Haddad here behind the line for the serve. Hits it to the back line. Juan DeJesus finds an open gap right past El Haddad.
Very well-placed attack there by DeJesus, who adds to his team-leading kill total of 15 with that one. But Edwin Fernandez is catching up to him, having only played about 1/3 of the time that DeJesus has.
Guam takes his chance right into the net. And, you know, DeJesus is not the tallest player on the team, but his hang time is by far one of the longest on the court. It only rivals that of Mark Palencia's, and he spends so much time. He's able to set up his shot and find the open gaps. Steven Caruso with the serve. Juan De Jesus getting ready on the action. And the Dolphins send one free over for the Bloodhounds. Alvarado sets one up, and it is crushed into the back line off of Steven Caruso's body for the third point of the set for the Bloodhounds. Hernandez here with the serve, jump serve. Sends it to Caruso, digs it cleanly, sets it up for Lay. Lay sends it to the backside. De Jesus sends one to Guo, who digs it. El Haddad sets up Guo in return. Guo's attempt blocked at the net with a double block, with Santana leading the charge on that one, giving the ball back to the Bloodhounds and Hernandez to serve.
And you mentioned the disparity in blocks coming into this set. John Jay blocking well once again right there.
Nice serve there by Hernandez, dug well by Caruso, but just sent over free for the Dolphins. Alvarado tries to sneak one past Baum, but Baum is ready for that. De Jesus sends a shot into Kalik Baum's hands, who creams off to the far side for the 5th point for the Bloodhounds.
And Juan De Jesus has taken the reins once again, leading the Bloodhounds attack here in set number 4. Nicely done by Juan so far.
Dolphins really got to give Kalik Baum some help up front. Had that been a 2-person block there, they would have had that gap closed off and probably sent it back over for a blocking point.
Well, Daniil Kukovitsky on the bench for CSI right now. Excuse me, Kukovitsky is in. My mistake.
Subbing in for the Dolphins is Justice Stout coming on for Kalik Baum.
Sorry, Mark Palencia on the bench for the Dolphins right now, and you have to wonder if that's impacting their ability to pick up kills and strengthen their attack.
Stout comes in the game and sends a nice serve to the back line. Bloodhounds set the ball up for De Jesus, which finds the Dolphins just sending one back over. Alvarado sets up De Jesus once again, who sends it into the net for a 5-4 lead by the Bloodhounds. Justice Stout behind the line once again, here to tie up this game. And as I say that, Joe, he hits one under the net and gives the Bloodhounds a 6-4 lead.
Unforced errors, we've mentioned it several times already, is potentially being the difference in the outcome of this match here tonight. And the Dolphins picking up an unforced service error right there. The Dolphins have committed more errors overall so far in this match, and they trail 2-1.
Steven Caruso digs one to El Haddad, who sets up Kukovitsky, who sends one to the back line. Alvarado sets up Hernandez, blocked by Kukovitsky. Serdell finds his shot, hits off Tisby. Caruso sends one, a line drive over the net. And Santana pokes one just over the net, falls right in front of Kukovitsky for the point.
So a powerful attack by Christian Serdell, and then a finesse attack by Alexander Santana picking up the kill there.
Guo digs De Jesus' serve, sends one over. Good dig there by the Bloodhounds. Hernandez once again uses his height and power, and the Dolphins just sending no blockers to the net as Hernandez gets a free shot at the back line for a point.
The Dolphins just haven't been as active up around the net as they were earlier in this match. It appears head coach Jason Madsen having a discussion with the official along the far sideline. Play will resume.
They reversed that point. They called it out of bounds after calling it in. So here we go. We resume action with Serdell taking a shot towards Caruso. Little officiating talk going on here. And that is called in there, Joe. From our angle, that looked out. Caruso seemed to think the same way.
I thought it was out, but I don't have a great angle. I'm not sure how the judge in the corner ruled on that one. I thought his flag officially rose, calling that ball out, but he was overruled by the official near the scorer's table.
Santana here to serve for the Bloodhounds. Takes a flat-handed serve right at Tisby. Creams off. Bad pass, so he has to send it over. Alvarado tries to set up Ortiz. Hits it right into the net. No, hits it off of a Dolphin player that hits into the net for a point. So Santana here to serve once again.
Always tough to gauge those bounces over around the net. Sometimes it's tough to see where that ball ends up.
Santana takes his bounces, flat hands one over there right at Caruso. Passes it nicely to El Haddad. Whoa. Takes a weird angle attack to the ball, but finds a way to find a gap in that back line.
And an orthodox approach to the ball, but he got the results he wanted, as we have a discussion going on between the official along the far sideline and the John Jay coaches on the bench. Bloodhounds will huddle up here as the Dolphins remain in their positions on their side of the court. Not sure what this discussion is about.
May have to get an explanation at some point. All right, so the Bloodhounds come out of their huddle. Dolphins were already in position, ready to go. Guo does a mini jump serve. Right to De Jesus, who was unsure how to field that ball, but Alvarado was not and just hits one over as the Dolphins were unready for that.
A mistake like that is something the Dolphins simply cannot afford here. Now only one set away from a defeat at the hands of a conference foe in this match tonight.
Alvarado sends one over the net towards Tisby. Steven Caruso has his attack blocked by the two tallest members of the Bloodhounds. Once again, the 6'8" Ortiz and the 6'4" Hernandez with the block. Alvarado sends one over. Guo with the dig. El Haddad with the set. Kukovitsky finds his shot, sends it in between the Bloodhounds blockers for the point. Dolphins trail 7-11 here in this fourth set. Kalik Baum and both Mark Palencia check back into the game for the Dolphins. Kukovitsky sends one over the net. Alvarado sets up Ortiz, who fires one right past Kukovitsky for the 12th point.
Dolphins simply losing the battle around the net here in the last two sets. That's been a big difference in the outcome of each set 3 and now here so far in set 4.
Guo chooses to send one outside to Palencia, who fires an absolute rocket off of the head of a Bloodhound defender. Did you see that call there, Joe?
I think El Haddad got a piece of the net on that attack.
That's unfortunate with...
On the follow-through.
Yeah, that was a great attacking sequence there by the Dolphins. It's unfortunate that El Haddad was called for the attacking error in the net. Guo receives the serve. El Haddad sets up Kalik Baum, who lefties it over the net for a kill, as the Bloodhounds are unable to successfully defend that chance.
Well, the Dolphins will have to string together some consecutive points. Eventually, they can't keep going back and forth, exchanging points, as their deficit right now is 5. Adil El Haddad serving for CSI.
Low serve there by the Dolphins. Hernandez finds his shot. Guo with the dig, but not strong enough, as it falls just a few feet in front of him with no Dolphins around to help lift it and continue the sequence.
Edwin Fernandez has been the difference maker so far tonight in this match. He came in set number 3, led the Bloodhounds to a victory in that set with a team-high 10 kills in that third set. Those were all of his kills on the match, of course, with set 3 being his first action. And now here in set number 4, he's also played a big role, and the Dolphins have had no answer for him.
Jerson Guaman here with the serve, sends it right into the net. The Dolphins need to go on a run right now here, Joe. They really need to get going and get 6 in a row.
Time is certainly running out on CSI. They trail by 5, as we will have a substitution. Ortiz for Guaman. He'll have to wait to take his spot, as serve belongs to the Dolphins.
Mark Palencia, again, that's not what the Dolphins really needed there. They needed to go on a run, and Palencia sends it right into the net.
An unforced error once again by the Dolphins. Going into this set, they had committed 20 errors as opposed to 16 committed by the Bloodhounds.
Hernandez sends a jump serve over, and Tisby passes it to El Haddad, who sets up Kalik Baum, who sees the ball just go over the net. Alvarado sets up De Jesus, who taps one just past Kalik. Guo there for the dig. El Haddad is able to find Palencia coming off that deep back line for the kill.
And those errors I just mentioned, I should clarify, those were attacking errors that I mentioned. In terms of service errors, the Dolphins have actually done a good job. The Bloodhounds committed 9 coming into this set. The Dolphins had only committed 3. So on the serve, the Dolphins have done a good job. It's been on the attack that they have committed more errors than John Jay.
Justice Stout comes into the game and just hits one too far out of bounds. So the ball will be transferred back over to the possession for the Bloodhounds.
And I believe that's Stout's second service error of the match. He's come in, had at least 2 or 3 serve attempts. A couple of those have resulted in errors.
That is correct there, Joe, with De Jesus here for the serve. El Haddad finds Kukovitsky, who sends an absolute rocket into the blocks, which allows the Dolphins to retain the ball. El Haddad sets up Brandon Lay, but, you know, Kukovitsky also jumped, which faked out the Bloodhounds' defense, which allowed Brandon Lay to get a wide open shot. Serdell here with the attack. Hits it off the double block for the kill. The Bloodhounds now lead 17-11.
And they are closing in on a match victory now here in set number 4. The Dolphins are running out of time and don't seem to have an answer for the attack of John Jay after doing a pretty good job of slowing them down collectively in the first couple of sets. It was really Juan De Jesus and not much more, but a lot of Bloodhounds have gotten involved since.
Mark Palencia comes from that back line to attack that set by El Haddad. Serdell hits the ball way too far out of bounds. Takes one hop and hits that back wall. So Guo here to serve for the Dolphins with a 5-point margin to close in on.
I'm not sure anyone on the floor attacks harder than Christian Serdell, but unfortunately he's committed quite a few errors, had already committed 8 coming into this 4th set.
Nearly committed another one there, Joe, but was able to hold on to that, and Hernandez fires one long. Now the Dolphins just trail 13-17.
This is what CSI needs, string together some points consecutively as the referee blows the whistle over near the scorer's table along the far sideline. Looks like he'll check something with the official scorer over there.
Looks like a rotation error here by the Bloodhounds. Oh no. There was a serving out of rotation there by the Dolphins.
Just an unforced, unnecessary error, one the Dolphins simply could not afford at this point.
So that battle they just had right there was for nothing, as the Bloodhounds are awarded that point. So Alvarado here will take the serve for the Bloodhounds. Sends one over the net. Tisby with the clean dig. Palencia pokes one right over the net, regains that point they lost.
Good effort there by Steven Alvarado, who sprawled out on the floor trying to send it back over, but he could not. Dolphins trail by 5 here in set number 4.
Kukovitsky sends a nice hard shot over the net. Alvarado sends out sets up Serdell, who fires a shot off of Khalik Baum, whose attempt goes out wide.
And with the strength of Serdell's attacks, the Dolphins really need to square up to those attacks and make sure that any ricochet off a potential block travels back over toward the Bloodhound side of the net. We've seen a lot of Dolphin block attempts travel left and right instead of forward.
You know, with a power hitter like Serdell, you want to just get a block in, so he's got to use that power to get over you, and most of the time we'll just send it right out of bounds. El Haddad here sets up Baum, who lightly taps one over the net. Alvarado sets up Hernandez, who sends the ball right at us as it rolls along the net and finds a spot on the court. The Dolphins thought it was out of bounds, but that certainly landed inbounds there, Joe.
It certainly did. I get my first touch of the night here late in this match. In the 4th set, I had quite a few during soccer season. That's my first of the season here during volleyball.
What looked like a weak shot there turned out to be a surgical shot, as it found the open court right in front of Palencia, who tried to make the diving save. Miranda tries for the same shot. Guo there, ready for it this time. Palencia sends a shot too hard for the blockers of the Bloodhounds to corral, as Palencia secures his 12th kill of the night. El Haddad sends one over. Hernandez sends an absolute meteor into the court as Guo just stands there and watches it fly by him.
I think it was now or never for the Dolphins once they had regained service there and serve now back with the Bloodhounds. They're only 3 points away from a victory here in this match. It's looking bleak for CSI.
You know, the Dolphins really looked poised to make that comeback until that serving out of rotation point got switched to the other side and really sucked all the wind out of their sails. Now the Bloodhounds are just 2 points away from sealing this match up. Guaman here. It's unorthodox serve. Hard for Tisby to corral. Free ball sent over by the Dolphins. Alvarado sends one to Hernandez, who once again fires an absolute cannon into the blocks as it seems the shot just dropped right down.
And I'm not sure Hernandez should have ever had that opportunity. That serve looked sure to travel over the back line.
With the game on the line, Guaman sends one right into the net. This is it for the Dolphins. This is now or never. They need to go on a 11-0 run here to win this set, to extend it to a 5th set. Mark Palencia here with the ball in his hands. Mini jump serve, sent it to the back line. Alvarado sets up Santana, who sends one out wide. Mark Palencia here focusing in. Throws it up, hits it right over the net, and out of bounds. Too strong, which gives the match to the Bloodhounds.
Well, the Dolphins got off to a good start in this match, a strong effort in the first 2 sets. They only took one of those first 2 sets, but it was really a back and forth affair. The score in set number 1, John Jay takes it 25-23. In set number 2, CSI took it 25-22, but then beginning in set number 3 with the entrance of Edwin Hernandez into the game, the match really turned in the Bloodhounds' favor. In set number 3, John Jay wins it 25-17. Then they take set number 4 by a score of 25-16. And if you're the Dolphins, you hate to lose a matchup like this to a conference foe, but it appeared early that this match was very winnable.
Absolutely, Joe. You know, early on, like you said, we lost by 2 points, and then we won by 3, and then with the infusion of Edwin Hernandez, that's what really spelled doom for the Dolphins, as they just really did not have an answer for his height and hitting power, and that's what really did the Dolphins as the Dolphins were only able to score 17 and 16 points respectively, as they just couldn't get anything going offensively.
And we mentioned early in the match that for John Jay, it was really Juan De Jesus who carried the attack. He had 15 kills going into this 4th set, picked up several more here in set number 4. Christian Sorrell was also heavily involved in the Bloodhounds' attack, but his attacking errors really nullified his impact. He had 7 kills through 3 sets to go along with 8 attacking errors. So though Sorrell was involved, not necessarily a net positive on the attack for John Jay, but once Edwin Hernandez entered the game in set number 3 and picked up 10 kills, attacking at nearly 77%, the Dolphins just didn't have an answer. It seemed they could handle Juan De Jesus at the net. We mentioned De Jesus lacking size, certainly not power in his attack, but the 5'9" De Jesus, a stark contrast to the 6'4" Hernandez, and Hernandez's height, along with his powerful attacks and well-placed attacks, really did the Dolphins in. They had no answer. Kalik Baum and Daniil Kukovitsky, along with Mark Palencia, really neutralized in the last set and a half, and that spelled doom for the Dolphins as they fall to John Jay here tonight, 25-16 at the Sports and Recreation Center. Any final thoughts, Tom?
No, you know, the Dolphins have a tri-match here with Lehman and Sarah Lawrence, non-conference, on Saturday here. They will look to, you know, get revenge against Lehman after they lost 0-3 earlier on in the year. Sarah Lawrence is a team they've already beaten this season 3-0, so, you know, if they play Lehman early on in the day, hopefully they can steal a win there, you know, boost their morale, and then go on to Sarah Lawrence and really put them on a 2-match winning streak here, coming off a tough loss against a conference foe.
Well, to wrap up the month of March, you mentioned that tri-match with Lehman and Sarah Lawrence College this Saturday, beginning at 11 a.m. They also have a match with Baruch here at the Sports and Recreation Center on March 30th, That match begins at 7 p.m., and that match with Baruch will conclude the home portion of their schedule here in 2017. Just the final records for both teams coming out of this match here tonight. The Dolphins fall to 5-11 on the season, 2-5 in the CUNYAC Conference. John Jay improves to 9-14 overall and 2-4 in the CUNYAC Conference. And with that, our coverage of tonight's NCAA Division III men's volleyball match wraps up. Our final score in 4 sets. John Jay wins the match 3-1 over the Dolphins. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching here tonight. This has been men's Division III volleyball coverage here on CSI Sportsnet, csidolphins.com.